Folks, we're back. This is another episode of Veterans in Politics with Stephanie Phillips and Steve Sampson. Today we have Carrie Cox, who's the Henderson City Councilwoman for Ward number 3. But before we get to Councilwoman Cox, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. And this is our second show of the night. And if you see us fanning ourselves, you hear these fans running. It is hot in here. Our AC is not working, but thank you to our sponsors, Simplify Heating and Cooling. We need you over here right now. They are sponsoring the show, and their website is callsimplify.com. Callsimplify.com. Get in touch with them if your system needs checking or you're having problems with it. And also our other sponsor is Henderson Mayor Michelle Romero, and we finally have her sign now. So thanks, Michelle, for that. Her website is votemichelleromero.com, votemichelleromero.com. She is running for re-election to be mayor of Henderson again. And also check out our merch store. It's vipimerch.com, vipimerch.com. We have lots of fun items on there for you to take a look at. And also our consulting website is live, vipiconsulting.com. If you are a candidate in a nonpartisan race, give us a call. We would like to talk with you. Also, if you would like to advertise, if you have a yard sign like this and you would like to advertise on our show, get in touch with us. As long as space is available, we can chat with you, and we will only run one candidate per race. As long as we will not run your opponents. So whoever gets to us first. Also, our Valentine's Ball, February 7th of 2026. It's coming up. I know it's a little ways away, but we're going to have early bird tickets on sale this summer. So look out for those. Also, grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. You can get a copy of this on Amazon. It's $14.99. If you are in the family court system and you don't have an attorney, you can't afford one, this is a self-help book. It will help you navigate that system. So grab your copy and he will autograph it for you as well for free. And let's see, what else was I think that was, did I catch everything?
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, for full disclosure, because you advertise with us, that doesn't mean that we are endorsing your candidate until you go through the endorsement panel interviews.
Yes.
But we love advertisement, so keep it coming.
Yes. So thank you to all. We've got a Board of Regents candidate coming up advertising with us next month. We've got a CD4 candidate coming up the following month. So
yeah,
we
put
are
me on the list.
We are
right.
We are having.
We talked about that.
I don't see your stuff come yet.
Well, you let me know. I'll bring it.
We got one from City of Henderson.
Yeah, I know. But I talked to you first.
But we didn't see any money.
Well, then I will write it out.
We'll talk about that after the show.
You just tell me what needs to happen.
We don't just toss you up there just because.
No, I didn't think you did.
So before we get to Carrie, I had a couple of rants on the last show, and this one, I have another rant, and this is on the Nevada Judicial Discipline Commission. Once again, last week we ranted about that, but now they have come out with their decision after that hearing, whether to reinstate Judge Fiore or not. So they decided to rescind their suspension of her without pay, right? But they reinstated a new suspension with pay. So she's still suspended from the bench, but she's getting pay now. They cite that they suspended her again because of additional public complaints, the appearance of ongoing ethical concerns, and their authority to protect public trust. So I would like to know additional public complaints. So when you make a complaint, it's a complaint that the commission gets, and they send a copy to the judge, whoever it's about, and they are served with this complaint. According to Michelle, they don't have any complaints. Where are those, commission? How come if you're sitting on them, where are they? Produce them. Let's see what those are. Also, when she got her presidential pardon, you guys admit that the pardon divests your authority to punish her for that conviction. That erases all guilt. It erases everything. And you have a jurisdiction problem because you said, and I'm going to read this because I'm going to go back to this complaint that Steve submitted to you guys about Justice Herndon. And you guys wrote this letter right here to Steve. And I'm going to read this part where you say you do not have jurisdiction over somebody who wasn't a judge at the time. Justice Herndon, you dismissed this complaint on Justice Herndon because this happened back in the 90s when he wasn't a judge. So you said you have no jurisdiction, but all of a sudden you have jurisdiction over Judge Fiore. But this happened back in 2019 and 2020. How is it that you have jurisdiction over her as a city councilwoman in 2019 and 2020? In my opinion, you are overstepping and overreaching this. And I think it's just retaliation. Hold on. I'm getting to that point. I'm getting there. Hold on a second. The commission, this is your words, commission. This is in writing. You put this in writing to Steve. The commission does not have jurisdiction over the conduct of judges before they enter upon the duties of judicial office. You do not have jurisdiction before they enter office. Judge Fiore wasn't a judge back in 2019 or 2020. These are your own words in writing. And also, Nevada law prohibits, this is also your writing in this letter, the commission. Nevada law prohibits the commission from considering complaints which arise from acts or omissions occurring more than 3 years before the date of the complaint, or more than 1 year after the complainant knew or reasonably should have known. This was over 5 years ago that this happened with Michelle. According to you all, that's past the statute of limitations, right?
Mm-hmm. You think?
Yeah. So I would say, and the other thing too, when you have a complaint, you have to have specific findings and clear and convincing evidence that there was misconduct. What was done? Michelle has been off the bench for the last 8 months because you've suspended her. What are these complaints? The public wants to know because you guys right now, in my opinion, are the most hypocritical body in this state of Nevada. This is a disgrace. This is a shame. And there are some serious issues with this. So I would say get your act together because you cannot treat one way and another way. That is not equal and fair justice. It's not what you're doing. Did I cover it?
I think so. You got everything?
It's shameful what they're doing. It's disgusting. So they need to rectify that. And whether you guys like Michelle, don't like Michelle, replace Michelle with yourself. How would that be? If they treat one person one way and then they target you and treat you another way, you would feel a certain way. So it has no bearing on how you feel about Michelle, whether you think she's guilty, not guilty, should have got the pardon, shouldn't have got the pardon. That's not the point. This is our commission, our Judicial Discipline Commission. And I believe, and in my opinion, they are treating her unfairly. Okay.
Well, thank you, Ms. Phillips.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Cox.
Yes.
How are you?
Great, except I think something flew in my eye. So if I play with my eye, I'm good.
That was our pet fly.
No, I know. I don't know.
Did you kill it with your eyeballs?
Mark can throw the tissue
but
box.
It's like, cool. I love the fans because it really is going to help me stay cool. But I'm literally going, oh my gosh, what is going on? I have to have
Did you kill our pet fly?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What was his name?
Freddie.
Oh, Freddie. I'm so sorry.
Poor Fred.
Poor Freddie. I don't know. Just like a piece of dust or lint or something. It was not Freddie.
I think
He's still here.
You sure?
Somewhere. He's probably said it was too hot and he left. Yeah.
It's hot.
How are you, Steve?
I'm good.
Good.
Councilwoman Cox, could you give us a bio, please?
Oh, a bio.
Mhm.
Let's see. That means I get to talk about myself. Oh my gosh. Well, I love to start with, I have 7 children and 11
Whoa,
grandchildren.
7 children. Don't you knit
That's
and
my
sew
fa-
or something?
That's my favorite part, though. I mean,
Watch
it's
Oprah?
great. I know. No, I don't have time to watch Oprah.
You got time to make 7 children, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They're all grown,
that's
though,
true.
aren't they now?
You know,
Are they
that's
grown?
yeah. All but my
Your
last
little
one, who's
Okay.
15. My little
Oh.
one is driving.
Wow, he's getting there.
Yeah, Mia.
Or she. He or she. Oh, she.
Yeah,
Okay.
we adopted her from China.
Aw.
So,
Oh, so
You
it's
know,
not biological children.
no,
also.
well, it doesn't matter when you adopt a child.
yeah,
they're
but I'm thinking,
yours.
but I'm
Like, they-
thinking
the same as
biological.
biological.
I'm thinking you're in the hospital pushing out.
You're
You get
thinking,
the
dang,
epidural.
I look good for doing that many
That's
kids?
what I'm saying. How'd you know?
No,
I'm
I know
thinking
you.
epidermal.
I
I'm
know
thinking,
Epidural.
Yeah, I'm thinking all that crazy.
Epidural.
No, epidural.
Epidural,
Oh,
not
yeah, okay,
epidermal.
epidural.
Anyway.
Yeah, epidermal.
Well, I don't know. I have been in education. I've been an educator for over 30 years, and a businesswoman since I was 21.
That's a lot of
and
maternity leave. Though.
It is. You have to have them during the summer. No, I had a lot of them in the fall actually.
Well, you were
But-
you said you were a kindergarten teacher, right?
Yeah,
Forever.
I've been in and in education forever, and kindergarten is my favorite
Okay.
part of
Oh.
life. Yeah, I love
Did
it.
you ever teach your own? What school did you?
Well,
teach at?
I'm still at Pinecrest, Sloan Canyon.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not in the classroom. I promised I would retire. I promised my constituents, if voted in, I would retire from the classroom, which I did. And then
Did you come home
I've
sick all the
gone
time?
back. Not at all. You have a great immune system around kids. And so then I went into.
Were your kids ever in your class? Or
I
through that
had
school?
on my last year in a classroom. I had one of my grandchildren.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Fun.
I had Harrison. It was wonderful to do.
You gave
that,
him more
but
time
I
than the other
didn't.
kids?
I only taught. Yeah, I know, right? So no, I didn't. Usually, the policy is that you don't have your own child in your
Because
classroom.
I have in a backpack.
It's up, right? I know, right? It's up to admin, and it's been great being a reading interventionist. I just go in a
What is
couple
that?
of days a week.
Do you read to the kids?
No, it's where you help children read, and
Oh.
you work on those skills that they need to be able to break down words, to blend. I mean, you go. I mean, that's just a small part. I mean, it's extensive what you do,
And that's at Pinecrest.
and that's at
Oh.
Pinecrest, and they've been great to have me a couple days a week, and it's been great. It's I love kids, and I love teaching, and it's been great to continue.
32 years.
Yeah.
Don't you
Then
guys
how
have it?
about your job at the Cox Cable place?
She owns the thing.
I
No. No,
Just
really.
kidding, folks.
Yeah, Cox Communications, there's no affiliation between
You sure
me
about
and
that?
Cox. Yeah, I'm positive. Yeah, no, I would really.
Because I see your bank
be
account
driving
grow.
You
very
probably
nice
wouldn't be a
vehicle.
councilwoman.
No, well,
you
actually, I think I would be, regardless, if I owned Cox Communications, which we don't, because I care that much about people. And I think, what made me want to run the first time where I almost won, I just was 400 votes where I didn't, and that was 8 years
that was
ago.
worldwide. That was a citywide race.
Yes, and I ran my last race citywide
Was it
also.
citywide? No.
Because and then on that ballot was
So how's
a
it feeling now?
question
It's just
that changed.
ward. Just a ward.
I love the city of Henderson. We vote and impact everyone in the city of Henderson.
True. But you didn't
So-
want to run that citywide race running for a
Yeah, it's
ward.
a lot. I mean,
We
just one
talked
district.
about that. You didn't want to do that.
Oh well, no, but it's bigger. It's much more
And
difficult.
You got more money,
but-
and you got to put signs everywhere instead of just one
Well,
area.
that's true, but I'm so
Yeah.
used to it. I think I did it twice, but people matter, and because people matter, that's why I ran the first time, and that's why I ran the second time, and it's why I'm going to run again. Is I feel that we still have work to be done, and that I want the constituents to have a voice, and that's critical. I mean, so often they don't have a voice and don't feel they have a voice. And does that mean that you say yes every time and it works out? No, but I think if people understand the why and they truly understand and there's transparency and they know what's going on, I think they're a lot more forgiving or understanding, and say, okay, I might not like that, but they were straight up with me. And then I can be okay. So that's what's important to me.
You said you were a business owner, and I think I've interviewed you before, and I'm trying to remember from that last podcast. Were you guys in the food business or a food truck?
We had a
or
restaurant.
What was? Oh, a restaurant. Okay.
We've had a daycare. Yeah,
Do you still have daycare?
No, not really. I mean, we just help out our grandchildren. So.
Oh, okay.
She said that's a daycare.
Yeah.
She just don't get paid.
Yeah.
The grandchildren daycare.
Yeah.
But we had an
But no,
educational
your restaurant.
program.
Where's your restaurant?
Our restaurant was sold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was finalizing my campaign, then that's what I had to make a decision. Am I going to finish my race, or am I going to?
Oh, so that was just recent then, when you
Yeah.
were running last time. You decided
we
to
sold
sell.
it 3 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. And how long have you guys been in Henderson? I forget. Even
Oh, forever. Well, my house, I've been in my house 30 years. So,
Okay.
And before that I was in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Long time.
Been here a long time. I think they say by 30 years, they consider you native.
Mm-hmm.
So
So what inspired you to run for city council?
really that want and need. And really I had police officers come and talk to me about their situations in public
Barney
safety
Five.
and they wanted,
Aaron Johnson.
Oh, well, Aaron came after the fact, but no, I didn't. But it was just, I felt like I could make a difference. And I think sometimes that sounds kind of corny, right? Like, oh, I can make a difference, a positive difference.
Mm.
But you have to have hope, and you have to have trust in that somebody is going to be there for you and have your back, especially on the level of a municipal, position, because municipal is almost more important than higher positions, because we affect people's day-to-day quality of life, and in a big way. And so you better get it right, because that quality of life matters to them. And if they have to, go work a couple of jobs to support their family, that makes their quality of life go down. And, and I just think we have to be careful how we lead. And for me, it's all about leadership and the policies that are set and how they affect them.
So you've been in there, 3 years now?
Almost, 2.5. Well, I was sworn in January 3rd of 2023.
So what are the things that you are proud of that you've been able to accomplish thus far? And then what do you plan on doing that you would like to accomplish if you win your reelection?
Well, when I came on scene, there was just a lot going on in our police department. There is again, but I really wanted to help find a way to increase morale. Recruiting was really a big
in the
focus.
police department, you mean? Oh, okay.
Recruiting and retention.
Mhm.
Those were my really important items and goals that I had, and they were aligned with the e-boards and the rank and file and what they wanted, because it's really not about me. So it's about who I serve. So in doing that, Richard Derrick, the former city manager, did a great job, and the assistant city manager, Jim McIntosh, he's also former. They did a great job at listening and saying, okay, what do we need to do here? And I think at that time, you'll remember there was a no confidence vote that came from our officers for that current chief. And it was clear that that's what they wanted, and that something needed to happen, a change needed to happen. That change did happen. The city manager and the assistant city manager tried really hard to make sure that they had a very clear, clean process in order to choose the next chief. And then Chief Chadwick took the reins, and our we did have our crime rates come down and some other things, you know.
So they were higher before when
But,
you came
yeah.
in, and that's
Mhm.
one of the things that you wanted to
Well, and it's one
lower
of my
and
promises.
recruit more
Yeah,
people. They needed
exactly.
more officers.
Yep. And that was my concern, was like, obviously I can't go in and do that for them, but they needed to have a successful start to be able to make that happen.
Mhm.
Residents were extremely concerned about the crime rates. And I know that, you know, we're a pretty safe town, but there was a lot going on. I mean, gangs were coming from LA. They were, you know, knocking open doors, kicking open doors, and in Anthem especially, there was a lot of fear and a lot of things going on. And so that was where they were able to work on that and work on the crime rate. And it really meant, and our police officers just really, I mean, they already work hard, but going out and just really just working as hard as they can to make that happen. And it's to their credit that they did.
Yeah.
That our officers made that happen.
How you mentioned Holly, and there was a whole, you know, lot that has gone on with that. How long had she been on the force before she became chief?
21 years, I think, 21 and a half years.
And you guys were friends before?
No.
Oh, you didn't know her before she?
No, Holly, yeah. I mean, we weren't friends after.
Oh.
I mean, Holly and I are not friends. But it's, you know, I just felt like, I mean, she had a job to do. We were professional.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like we're enemies. We're not friends.
Yeah.
You know.
But you defended her. And...
Well, I defended the process.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to look at what I said. And, you know, I like you talking about Michelle, that whether people like her or don't like her or think that she should have had that gift, you know, from the president or not, mm-hmm. is irrelevant in mm-hmm. that you're calling for a fair process. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm
So that's
for.
What happened. That was the breakdown. Yeah, it wasn't fair.
Right.
What part of that process wasn't fair that the public should know?
I feel like if you don't see eye to eye with someone and you're their boss, you're in charge, you just don't go to, okay, I don't see eye to eye with you because you won't do what I want you to do. Okay. Yeah. You know, and I think there has to be a process. Where's the personal improvement plan? Where's the documentation? Where's the, hey, you're not seeing eye to eye with me, so what do we need to do to sit down and see if we can come to a middle ground and a win-win?
Oh, like give her a write-up and say, hey, this isn't working, you need to improve A, B, and C.
Yeah,
and then we'll check back in 90 days or whatever.
Yeah,
so you
30,
think, so they didn't do that process. So,
no.
Okay.
And I just think that just sitting down and having conversations where you don't feel like you're seeing eye to eye, okay, that's the first step. And that happened. But the next step, and again, it can be, you know, I know that she was very well liked by rank and file, mm-hmm. you know, but regardless, again, you know, I don't think she should have been let go, but it isn't my decision, mm-hmm. but the city manager is one of our 3 employees as a city council. And so the other problem for me is we can't say, oh no, that has nothing to do with us. It is the city manager's decision. However, obviously, if you don't support it, then, you know, why is something not being said? And so again, it was the process that I took exception with.
And she's suing the city, is that correct?
I am not sure a lawsuit's come through yet.
Oh, okay. Or does she intend to sue the city?
I haven't talked to her, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
What her plans are.
Okay. Did she have anything in? I mean, it seems like the city manager stepped in. What, a month or so before she was let go? Was it a short?
I think it was about 3 weeks. Yeah,
3 weeks.
She had been, our city manager had been an assistant city manager and had been with the city for 30 years.
For a long time.
And so I do understand that she navigated and knew what the city was all about. And I'm not saying that she was incompetent at all, you know, but what I am saying is that, again, calling out the process. we can't, you can't just go and, in my opinion, and just say, sorry. I mean, she came up through the ranks. We're 23 and a half years in, and you just don't, okay, she's not going to, see eye to eye. So sorry, you're gone. And that was, and I felt like for anybody, they deserved something more. She deserved something more. And our rank and file, I mean, this was hard for me, is that it really hurt. I mean, a lot of our rank and file were pretty upset about it, and a lot of our residents were, and so they all came to me. And so I'm getting all of this, look, this is not okay. And I'm like, yeah, like, why is rank and file not have any input at all when they had a large input on her hiring?
Mm-hmm.
There was a blind survey done, and to choose which one they wanted out of the 3 finalists, and she came overwhelmingly their choice. So, and if things happened, which I know there was, and I know I've been really slammed by the e-boards about saying that, I didn't make public that I knew about that there were issues between the e-board and the chief. Well, I'm on Channel 3 News saying that. Mm. So there was a misunderstanding.
Is this about when they pulled the endorsement?
And there's really a misunderstanding, a very large misunderstanding, because that's not true at all. And I had talked to the VP of HPOA on that Thursday before she was let go. And I asked straight out, I need to know where you're at on this. Mm-hmm. And it was, well, we're not calling for her resignation. We're not calling for her firing. So I thought I was good. So then fast forward to Tuesday's city council meeting, I felt I went the right direction based on all the players and where I thought everybody was. And because again, I work for them. Mm-hmm. So I work for my constituents. I work for public safety. I work for the rank and file. I work for fire. My personal opinion in this does not matter. Theirs does in a big way. And so I hope that the e-boards will really, really reconsider and hopefully understand that there was no ill intent or malice from me to do anything wrong.
Could there possibly have been, because I know some kind of, personnel matters are private or confidential. Excuse me. Is there something in that the public doesn't know or that can't be disclosed? Is there something in her file or past that had happened that they just can't say?
No. So that's a problem. I mean, as far as I know, no. If there's something that I'm not being told, but the reality is, again, a statement came out on March 6th, I believe, or they said, we'll let you know. We can't say anything for 3 weeks because, she's an employee and we can't divulge, anything about our employees. Yes, that's a correct statement, but I don't know how true in that you don't give the rest of that, which is the statement that went out at the end of that period of time could have gone out at the beginning. It is very, very vague, but it does say clearly that she was released with no cause. And so I just feel like, again, I'm talking about the process. Mm-hmm. 3 weeks went by, and it gives people a lot of time to wonder mm-hmm. and to be concerned, and it puts our residents and everyone through it. And so that's my concern. I want to take care of my constituents. I want to do my job. And so when it's upsetting to them, that's when I step in and say, okay, wait a minute. Like, what do we need to do to improve? And I think that's really what it's all about. What happened? What didn't go the way maybe would be the best? What is the best, right? What is the win-win? What can we do different? And how are we going to implement that? Mm-hmm. And that's all I ask for, is learning from what happened, because we're on, I don't even know anymore how many chiefs, in 20 years, I think it's been
There's a
not
lot.
9.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
and
a
I'm
lot.
just like, look, we got to get this right, and that is for our rank and file who do that every single day. And now, I mean, that really upset so many of them, and they feel insecure and some, you know, about what's happening next. And so I look forward to them getting a chief in. I mean, that part's over. You know, I said what I said. That's over. Let's move on. Let's move forward, and let's get this taken care of. And that's what I would like to see.
You guys over there at the council, it's been contentious. So
Well,
I want to straighten some stuff out because I've heard a whole lot of stuff from a whole lot of people. There's I think this was 10 months ago that somehow did Seabach hit you? Did you say he hit you? Is that
I'm not going to talk about that.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had heard that, and I just wanted to clear the record because I didn't know the details about that, and I had heard that, and I thought, well, you know, is there a police report? Is there, you know? And you said on Tom's show that you guys get along, you're great, and everything's
We do.
good. But
Now. Yeah.
okay, all right. So that's
Yeah.
a pending
We do now.
item from.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, we do now. We just,
Okay.
you know,
So he didn't hit you.
I'm not going to discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the with the mayor? I know you talked about that before when she sent that cease and desist. Apparently, all
It was
these
all
people.
all political.
So all
Yep.
these people have come to her and said that you are spreading this rumor allegedly that her and somebody are having an
Yeah.
affair or whatever.
That is ridiculous.
That's false.
Yeah.
That
yes.
never happened.
No. And that
Okay.
is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous.
Why
claim.
would she send you a cease and desist?
Well, and I did a response to her cease and desist, just so you know, which
What'd you
doesn't
say?
get talked about. So my attorney did send a cease and desist.
Your
back.
attorney was what's his is it Hardy?
Brian Hardy.
Brian Hardy. Is he still your attorney?
No, but I
Oh.
don't want to get into like that's really getting into the weeds of. I don't want to reignite. You know, I don't want to reignite the upsetness.
So that
from the
is
mayor.
closed. Is that
well,
issue
as far as I'm
closed?
concerned, it is because when that came out, I think she was very fearful of me running against her, and I think but the bottom line is this was just ridiculous. This was very political, and you know, we sent back a response to cease and desist.
Oh, you running for
It
mayor?
was very no. I'm running for Ward 3.
Why are people saying that?
I know, right?
Okay.
And
They
if I
said-
had been the mayor, I'd be a little nervous myself if I had heard it as many times as she heard it. But I mean, I said from the dais, I'm not running for mayor. And so several times, 4 months from day one, that was the rumor. Okay, so I have always been really clear that I would not run against the mayor. I mean, when she turns out or if it's not her in the race, that's a different story. But I have never, you know, been like, yeah, I'm going to run against the mayor.
But would you lose your council seat
Yes.
if you did? So
Yeah.
if you
I have
ran,
to
then-
choose.
Yeah.
So why would I do that? I want to be able to serve my constituents in Ward 3. It's important to me. And why would I do that? And why would I gossip? I have too much on my plate. You know, listen, I mean, we've already talked about the many things, and that's not all I do. So I don't have time for that.
So you're saying that Michelle made that up?
No, I'm not saying
Then
that.
where'd that even come from?
I don't know.
You
But
don't
I
know
can
the
tell
people?
you no, because when we sent back our response, it was the cease and desist was very specific that I needed to go and retract the claim that I had made about that I supposedly said it, that I needed to go make, retract that. Well, when you put that in a cease and desist, then it requires the person to take action. Okay. And it did in her cease and desist. But in my response, it's like, fine, produce that. Then can you please produce the witnesses and the people that have done that? At the time, there's been nothing submitted, and so what I would like to see.
Them, her attorney does have those.
Okay, so when my attorney asked for them in January, they probably should have been turned over at that time.
So what does your attorney say now?
It is a debt issue. We need to move on. It doesn't help her, and it doesn't help me. So at this point, she's running and I'm running. I think we need to move forward and do.
Did you make up and talk about it and like squash
No, and I
the
would have
thing
loved it if
between?
she'd have come to me and talked to me about it.
So you can't really talk to each other because you have attorneys.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I can talk to the mayor.
Oh,
If I
okay.
needed something, I can go to the mayor.
No, I mean about this issue.
Oh, I don't.
If you-
Well, it's a mute issue. I mean, it keeps being brought up, but this was over and dead in February. So I don't know why we're still talking about it in May.
'Cause-
No, but I'm not saying that to you.
No,
because
other
it's a
people-
lot of people.
No,
That-
other
that's what
people
I'm
are
saying.
talking about it.
But
Yeah.
I think it's really a disservice to our constituents. We have a job to do, and the focus can't be on me or her, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So but again,
Well,
I
it
feel
is
that was
because
very
you're the
political.
mayor and or you're the councilwoman and she's the mayor. So
I know, but it's
you
like,
know,
okay, but if you're concerned about your family being damaged, I mean, her and I we're a lot in common. She has 11 grandchildren. I have 11 grandchildren. Okay. We have a lot in common in our beliefs, etc. So if you're worried about this harming your family, then your attorney doesn't send it to the press right after creating it. Think
the
about that.
letter.
Oh, the cease and desist to the press. Why? Why would you send that? If you're concerned about your family being injured,
Maybe they
No,
were
really.
mad.
but if you're concerned, she says she's concerned about harming her family and protecting her family. So all I'm saying is that's a great thing to be concerned about, but you don't send it to press.
Mhm.
You deal with it privately, in my opinion, if you feel that and you find out the other side.
Well,
So
sorry, Councilwoman. I was concerned when I heard about you being assaulted in City Hall by a city council member, and I did some digging because I have friends. I have a shitload of friends, and I have friends in the Henderson Police Department. I didn't find a police report. I don't know if there's one on the hidden secret, top secret stuff, but I didn't find one because I was looking for one. Could you help me with that?
No. I'm not going to discuss it.
Because if somebody was to hit my woman, I'm knocking them the hell out. I'm just saying, that's just me. I don't care who they are. Be Pope Francis.
There's a lot that goes on behind the curtain, period. But
I don't care who they are. Behind
I'm
the curtain,
not-
in front of the curtain,
but
you
I'm
touch
not
my
here-
woman, you get knocked out.
Right. But I'm here to move forward.
You touch my woman, you're getting knocked out. Simple as that. I don't care who you are. Governor, president, touch my woman, you get knocked out. Behind the curtain, underneath the tile, underneath the rug. I don't care where you are. You get knocked out. That's all I'm saying. Matt, you should have knocked somebody out. There you go. I'm just saying.
Don't promote violence.
I was promoting violence the other day. What are you talking about?
There's a lot of ridiculous things going on. And the bottom line is this. If people want to live in the politics of it all, then they can live there. I choose not to. I choose to serve my constituents, which is my job. I choose to do my very best for the city of Henderson, which is my job. It is what I was elected to do. And all of this other stuff is noise. All of this other stuff is a distraction that I refuse to be distracted by.
Well, it doesn't
And
go
so-
away, and you're starting your campaign now. People are going to ask about it. People still talking about it. So
I know,
it's
and it's kind
something
of silly because
I know, but it's something
I'm
that-
like, it's ridiculous
that has happened, and it has come up, and it's something
Well,
that
it's
you have to
something-
deal with
Right.
because
and I
you're
dealt with it and dealt
campaigning.
with it. I know,
yeah, and people are
But-
still going to, you know how they do. They,
yeah, I
you
know.
know, they
But
still
you
ask.
have to and I
Now, we're
get
bringing
it.
up the Herndon thing that took place in '95.
We've been bringing that up
Shit.
like every week
Yeah.
for
I know, but it's like when something's used to destroy a person because they're doing the right thing, because they are getting things done and they are supporting, that doesn't make everybody happy, okay, on the city council. So I can't control that. All I can control is I'm going to do the best I can do for my constituents who I am the elected representative. I can't get down in the fray. I have to stay above that fray, and I have to say, listen, it makes everyone look bad when things like that are accusations are made or things like happen. It's unnecessary.
Well,
and
I
I
would
think
say that
the constituents expect more.
Yeah.
I think they do. And I think they're tired of negative, and they're tired of the rumors. And that's what I'm hearing. They're tired of it. They just get to work. That's
think
the sad part of politics that I don't like. And I'm not gonna regardless of how I'm not going to behave a certain way because that's what they want. So
what do you mean?
I'm not going to vote lockstep if my residents and the constituents don't want that. I'm going to vote the way the people that elected me expect me to.
You guys pretty much vote all together on stuff, right?
We do.
Don't you talk about it before the
council
hearing? And then
we're not. Oh well, I don't. You're not supposed to.
Don't they talk about it? Oh, I thought you guys. Oh, I thought you did. I thought you guys gotta talk about, and then you know what you're gonna do, and you come out. Is that not a thing?
It doesn't have to be Henderson Council. It could be anyone.
No, I thought that was a thing. They all talk and then they come out and vote.
It's actually a violation of open meeting law. Yeah, no, it's a violation of open meeting law.
Oh, well, report them. Okay. They're the ones violating it. Yeah, we're gonna report.
No, I
violate no law. Sign me up for this flogging. I know they chat about it.
No, I thought that was a thing.
People tell me they chat about it before they get in front of the camera. Council people, what am I going to say to them? They go, I never said that to Samson. Not me. I never said that.
No, the reality really is kind of sad.
Okay, so you're not supposed to talk about it. Okay,
you have a briefing.
Got it.
You can kind of, two people do not make a quorum. Three do on the city council. Yeah. Okay, because we have 5, right? And really, the childish behavior is getting old.
Which is what?
And it's a lot. I don't even want to go into it. It's so ridiculous. But the reality is, we have been elected by the people to be adults.
You don't think the rest of them are being adults?
I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I'm not trying to make a derogatory comment about my colleagues.
Let me say something.
What I'm saying is, that is what is great, is that when we can come together, I vote 97% of the time with them. Okay. But when.
Yeah, I thought you guys all voted together all the time.
Right. But the 3% seems to be the problem. So it's
what is that you don't vote with them? What has it been that you haven't agreed with them on that you didn't vote along with the rest of them?
Well, it's limited, but anytime residents come forward, emails, phone calls, show up, talk from the podium at the, in the meetings, I listen to them.
Was that on the Chadwick thing or was that on the Somerset thing?
Oh, well, it's on all of the things.
All of them.
I'm going to listen to my residents every single time, and so especially when they come forward in groups and say, then it's our job to find a win-win, period, and I don't owe anybody anything. So I'm just saying, I owe my residents. That's who I owe, and that's who I have to work with. And I think that a lot of times when residents come forward, there may be some misunderstandings there. We need to, as representatives, or at least for me, I feel like I need to make sure they have all of the information, and I make sure to take care of that. And if they still feel that same way, then I'm going to listen. And so there's been several things that I've departed from, but it seems to be a big deal.
When you don't vote with them,
when it's not lockstep, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I can't worry about them. They're adults. They all get to decide what they want to do. They can vote for it or they can vote against whatever. It doesn't. I don't take it personal.
Well,
You know, I don't worry about it. I think sometimes it's taken personal, and it doesn't. And I do not intend that ever. I don't intend to ever hurt anyone.
I'm trying to get you off the subject.
Okay, get me off the
No,
subject.
I want
Let's
to
go.
update on the.
Oh my gosh!
No, you're talking about your constituents. I
Yes.
wanted that
Okay.
Somerset project was horrendous, and
It
what
was.
happened there? The city stepped in to help out, right?
Yes.
So tell us where is that now? Is all that stuff fixed? Is there more stuff wrong? Are the residents happy? They didn't get evicted, right? They got to stay, and the city's paying however much or whatever.
Well, they're paying it back right now, and I think what was great for the residents, the positive side of that is that Assemblywoman Danielle Gallant and I got together as it began. And I talked to the mayor about it. It was, we're not going to step in. And that is okay. We set a precedence, when you do that, you have to be fearful of that, and cognizant. And I think she was making the right choice on that. Like, it's okay. So, Assemblywoman Gallant and I went and we solved the problem. So with a private financing and a contractor that was approved by the city that would come in, do the repairs, and then the residents would pay, not the city. The city would be out of it. So I thought that was a great win-win. At some point, something changed for the mayor, and that's okay. And she decided that would be a good idea, and so it solved the problem. And that's the good part, right? Is that the residents were able to have, some left, because they didn't think they were going to be able to do it. But a lot stayed. And I think they are good with the fact that they do get to repay it and that they get to stay in their homes. And that's stressful.
Could have been disastrous.
It could have been.
All
It's
of
still,
them being
some of them
evicted
can't
and-
afford, right, but some of them can't afford it. Some have left. That was a problem that went on for many, many years, and it needed to be handled. It was important that be handled, and it did. The end result is great, and so that's what I focus on. But
do you guys always have to get when like a huge project like that or whatever you guys are doing? Do you guys always get a bunch of bids? Do you have a minimum number of bids you have to get?
Yeah.
Or a max? Is it open to everybody? To bid?
Yeah, anyone can bid
Is
on
there a
it. Well,
monopoly
you
on
have
that?
to meet the standards that are set.
Is
Yeah.
there a monopoly
Right.
on that? Is there a monopoly with Las Vegas Paving? Is there a monopoly with any
Oh
business
yeah, Las
entity?
Vegas paving that comes.
Yeah,
up.
is there a monopoly with any business
I
entity?
don't. I think the bid process is pretty fair. So I don't know. I'm not the one handling the bid process. So I can't answer that.
And does the
question.
city own
And
that property that used to be Las Vegas? It used to be the Fiesta Hotel and
Yes.
Casino. And what they
What
plan
are
to
you
do
guys
with that
doing?
empty lot?
We've
Let's go put a
gone.
house there.
We've gone through. Okay, let's do it. We've gone through a process, and the company that was selected has chosen to remove, their interest and have pulled out. The period of time that.
So the city owns that, right?
Yes.
How much is it going for?
I have no idea what the current value of that property is.
And I just wanted to say that it's probably before your time, but Water Street is beautiful. I remember how it used to look back in the day. It's nice.
It is.
It's nice.
Absolutely.
And
They've
it's
done a
nice.
great job.
And props to
Mhm.
Henderson for doing that. But what about Boulder Highway? Oh, that place. I mean, I still see
You're
Trixie.
picking up all the hot buttons
I
for
still-
residents.
I still see Trixie on the corner. I'm like, Trixie! You still here?
They
Trixie's
have
still on the corner with Candy Girl. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, when is
Well,
that going to be all cleaned up and put some lights over there? It's dark as heck. I got to go around with a flashlight just to walk down the street.
yeah.
They
What's
have
up
a
with
big
Boulder Highway?
project. They're improving that.
Yeah. Well,
They have a
that
big project
that
on there.
project was voted on
Right?
long before I came. The Boulder Highway project. The only thing I voted for on that project was who it would go to.
Steve Sampson.
And absolutely.
Las Vegas paving.
It did. It did go to Las Vegas paving.
So I gotta ask
I reviewed
I have
those
to ask
bids
you
and they
this.
were done correctly. So, I mean, they got it, right? So what
Hold on a second.
Paving. We're gonna come over there and do some paving.
This is
too.
what slays me though. But do all these companies donate to you, to your to all the council people?
I
Like
would if I was
Las
them.
Vegas
Five
paving,
there,
do they
10 there.
do
I
they
haven't-
donate to you?
Not yet.
Do they donate to the rest of them?
Yes.
And
I mean,
what
but-
about
but-
the other
But
companies?
I don't know. Look,
CNEs are easy to
it's-
pull.
I just think that it's
no, but listen,
That's just
for me, I can only talk for me. I cannot talk for I can't talk for anyone else. For me, literally, it is, access, that you're going to get anyway. So it's really up to them. I mean, the bottom line is campaigns take money. I mean, I did it on $36,000 my first campaign. I did it on the next one, $160,000 before I did win bonuses. And I was 8 times, my opponent was raised 8
remember that.
times
Yeah,
the
I remember.
money
You
that
wasn't living here.
that I
What you
did.
talking about?
No, this is Trish Nash.
Oh, I was talking
Had
about
raised-
the other one.
No, that was
Dan
Dan
Shaw.
Shaw. That was Monica Larson and Dan Shaw.
Coming in here with his little propeller airplane.
Yeah, flying in, sitting
Flying
for the council
out,
meeting,
coming
flying
in,
out.
Yeah. No about it.
You guys are awful.
It's truth. Is
but-
that a fact?
Yeah,
Is that a fact?
You
I
tongue-tied
believe
now
so.
before we
Yeah.
I believe so.
story
I
before.
don't
What
know.
happened?
I don't know.
She's
Because
like,
you bring up all of these hot buttons that people are just
Terry
so
went like this. She
Oh,
was like
wait.
running, and all of a sudden, she just she stops. Like, Carrie, come on, let's keep running, girl.
Wait, we got to talk about Three Kids Mine too. So
Oh
let's
my
touch
gosh.
on that. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Like, really, guys.
I like
They
the other
wanna-
Carrie.
the-
I like the other Carrie that talked to us.
The people at Lake
She's
Las
not she's
Vegas
not
want
talking
to know.
to us. She's like irksome.
My folks live at Lake Las
She's
Vegas. They want to
She
know.
sounds like Judge Michael Villani.
You know what?
I cannot talk about that. That case might be pending before me. I don't have it,
Hey,
but it
I've
might
been
come before
really
me.
good. Okay, I've talked a lot
It
to
might
you.
come before me. I don't know what
Well-
it is, but it might happen.
Right. I just want to serve my constituents. It's a true story. So
I believe you.
I don't need, thank you. I don't need to hide anything. I've known you for years.
I know.
You
Shit,
know?
you didn't even take me out
And-
to dinner yet. Shit, I want a steak dinner, like medium. That's right,
Matt did. Matt did. He just didn't tell you. He didn't tell you.
Medium rib, prime rib, baby, with Carrie.
Yeah,
That's
Matt
right.
does love you, by the way. He
That's
said
right.
to say hi.
You can't come, Matt. Is he gonna buy?
He said to say hi.
Oh, you can come, Matt. You buying?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Three Kids Mine. We got to touch
Oh
on that
my gosh.
because everybody
Oh.
wants to know about that. I get asked about that, and I was very curious about that development. I've talked to you about that in the past, and when I found out about that years ago, I was like, "What?
If
Where
that
did this
happened
even?"
years ago? That's
Yeah.
another way before me, situation. I mean, I think they started working on that 19 years ago. I mean, it's
Long
been
time.
forever.
Who's your campaign manager?
And Ronnie Council, who said to tell you hi,
Ronnie Council's your campaign manager?
said to tell you hi.
Oh, hi, Ronnie.
I thought it was Lisa.
I thought you were
Ronnie
doing fundraising.
Ronnie Council.
She's
my
you ex Lisa
council.
out?
Lisa, did Lisa get fired?
Lisa, you gone,
Lisa,
girl.
where are you?
No.
Lisa, you're out.
Lisa.
Oh my God.
You're out, Lisa.
No.
Himeo Doriso. You're gone. Ronnie Council's in. Haven't seen Ronnie in years.
No, I
though.
thought she was just a
No.
fundraiser. I didn't know she was
No,
a
she was
consultant.
full-on
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought she
She came
downgraded
out
or
of
something.
retirement.
Okay.
Oh, just for
She
you?
came out of retirement.
Dave Thomas, he better not come out either.
Didn't Lisa
Stay
run
your
your
ass
last campaign? She did, right?
No, I had, I had Itobin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't remember.
She works on lots of campaigns.
Does
so
she
you
live
know
here
that.
now? I heard.
She did work on
I
it.
thought
No,
she
we're
was-
talking about Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm
I
talking
thought
about
she
Ronnie
ran
Council.
her last
Yeah.
campaign.
She
You need to
worked
keep up
on
with me,
it.
man.
Yeah.
We're going Ronnie Council right
Okay, no, we're going back to Three Kids Mine. Let her answer
now.
that.
Does Ronnie Council live here?
No,
I
I'm not allowed to tell
You-
her.
I knew. How's she gonna run your campaign from? What's she
She's
gonna do?
doing a phenomenal
On
job.
Zoom?
She's doing a phenomenal
How's she gonna
job.
shake the guy on Water Street and Lake Mead?
Okay, let's go. I don't want to give you the whole breakdown of mine. Let's not get
How's she gonna
bogged
talk to the
down.
guy on Water Street and Lake Mead? and
Okay,
she's
we're
on
done
Zoom?
with Ronnie.
There
We're
are
moving
plenty
on
of
to the
people
mine.
that are working. I don't want to get into
Oh,
all
she
that.
tapped
I want to
somebody's
take
door.
my time.
All
I
right.
want to take my time.
We're
with-
giving you all the time you have. You want your
With-
last guess.
Oh my gosh. I want to take my time in answering your question because I know that this
Thank
is
you.
important to you.
It is.
And so, really, honestly, look, there were a lot of concerns about Three Kids Mind.
Yeah.
And,
Rightly
and
so.
rightly so.
Right.
Right. And I think where, for me, and I know that there's some people that just say, oh my gosh, can't, NDEP was involved, but oh my gosh, that doesn't mean, anything. But for me, I'm not the expert. So they are. If NDEP says they can make that cleanup work, then I was like, well, I went out to that site. And the Wheel of Fortune was one of the most toxic parts of that site. Young kids would be out there running around playing in it,
Yeah.
the dust,
Right.
with their hands. And then older teenagers would go out, and then people would go out and they were painting murals. And they painted the entire Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah.
different colors, right? And when we got out there, there was this lawn chair, empty, of course, but sitting there in the middle of the Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, it's like people really enjoy hanging out here. There was also an open mine shaft, not to mention the big pits.
I heard those are like 1,000 feet down.
Oh, yeah.
Who's doing the remediation
Yeah.
on the?
Well, okay.
A developer, a government?
There's a
There's a
company
1,000
that's
feet
been
drop
approved.
over here in Henderson.
Well, in the mine shaft, I don't know how far down it went.
Because I used to take the bodies all the way out towards Esmeralda. If you got something closer, I'll just go right there to Henderson.
It's right there by like Las
that's-
They're
Vegas.
gonna close it.
It's-
Okay.
oh,
It's like across the
You know,
I
street.
got a few bodies I need to drop there before they close it up.
So my point is that when I went out and toured that site, it raised. I'm trying to answer questions and help you not get in trouble.
I'm having fun with you, girl.
I love it. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Nah, they can't get me in trouble.
I know, no, but anyway.
They just dumped 2 bodies in Henderson's mine. Hell, it wasn't me, it was Mark.
Oh my gosh, we're getting punchy. But anyway, so really, when I went out and I toured that site, I was like, yeah, this is a problem.
So who's doing the remediation? Or
there's-
is anything
there is a
being done
company-
now?
Yeah, the remediation.
Oh, they're doing it
is-
right now.
The 2 pits are done, like being
Oh.
filled. Like we're
Oh.
progressing. But they are progressing very quickly.
How long did that
actually.
take them?
I'm trying to remember how many months we've been doing this. I have just totally
Like
lost
six
track.
months,
yeah.
9 months?
I believe so.
Thereabout?
yeah.
So they came in and bulldozed everything, and how far down did they have to go before they bring in good dirt and fill dirt and all that?
Right.
How far down? Do you know?
I believe I don't want to quote that because each site I believe is a little different, and on the site it's different, right? I believe. I've left the technical stuff to them, to the experts, but it is moving forward. And I hope that residents are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable out there at Lake Las Vegas and Calico Ridge. And
What developers doing that?
Pulte will be
Okay.
the developer, is the developer for the project. Right now, they just want to make sure that the cleanup is done, to the standards of NDEP. And that's important, the Nevada Department of
Yeah, that's
Environmental
super
Protection.
important.
And
Who's paying for that? Is the
Taxpayers.
government? No, didn't the federal government say they were going to chip in? No, they're not.
no.
So it's the constituents.
well,
Henderson's going to pay for it.
Taxpayers.
I
Taxpayers.
I'm not listening to me.
You're the councilwoman. You should know.
all of that deal happened long before me.
Yeah,
So-
but you're currently there, so they must
Yeah.
talk
You
about
can
it.
rescind it
right?
how,
Really
like
honest-
how Trump did with all
really?
those executive orders
Okay,
on
then
Biden.
I need 3 votes
Oh,
to
do you?
make that happen.
May have.
Oh,
let me
you
ask
make it happen.
Let me ask you something.
You-
do you get along with all these council members now, or do you get along with them?
I don't have,
Maybe I should ask a different
It's very
question.
contentious over there.
Would
Really?
would any one of them endorse your candidacy for
I'm
re-election?
not answering that.
Can they?
Yes, they
No,
can.
yeah,
A
it
city
doesn't.
council- Really? Oh.
The endorsement that matters to me is my residents and the constituents, because literally,
Let me ask you
I've
another
done
question.
a great job.
Because I hear stuff.
Oh my gosh, Steve,
I
you're
hear
killing me.
lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
You wouldn't believe what I hear. Oh my God, I hear some of the stuff. I forget my name. So anyway, do you get along with Councilwoman Larson? I need to know this because
This
I
was
thought
really-
you two were like
this
buds.
was an unfortunate situation because
clear that up for
I'm
everybody.
happy to clear it up.
Please. 'Cause I'm losing sleep.
I helped her a lot. I supported her, and I thought she was a great candidate. And
So did I.
I got a lot of
Yeah.
friends and
Yeah.
and people to jump on board, and I definitely towards the end of the campaign realized that just wasn't true.
What
that-
triggered
that-
you? What changed your mind?
That she just
She didn't
was,
pay for dinner this year.
she's just not who
She stuck it with the bill.
she's just not who she presents to be. So, but
Could
so
you give an example?
no, I can give you 100 examples,
Or
but
give
I don't
one.
want to give you no.
Give me one example.
No.
I'm trying to paint a picture in my head.
I'll give you one later. But no, seriously, I can give you 100. But no, it was a disappointment. It was very, very just sad.
Was there one thing that just all of a sudden there's a breakdown and that was that, or was it?
Well, there wasn't a breakdown on my end. So, but I'm just saying, look, I really was excited about her and her candidacy, and knowing that she would come on and, be who she presented to the voters and to her constituents, and that we would really be able to kind of bring the council together and figure it out, and in a better way. I felt like it would even the playing field out a little bit for
So the council
for
is not
constituents.
together, yeah.
Well, we're not together. It's look. I mean,
All
you
vote,
can
like
watch,
pretty much on
yeah.
the same
Like I
line.
said, I mean, it's contentious when there's an issue and I don't vote yes with them. So that's when it's contentious. But that's not okay. I get to vote however I want, and that shouldn't
You each do.
be upright.
You
But
each do.
but I don't get mad if they don't vote.
I'll get
The
this.
way
What do you mean
that-
you're
So
not
they-
gonna vote for that?
they
Like,
get mad.
I'm not going to get mad at anybody if they vote the way their conscience is.
So
We have to have dissenting voices. You cannot have everybody want this. You can't have lockstep.
But if there's only 5 of you, and if it's you kind of on the outside and the 4 of them, how do you get stuff
I get
on the
stuff.
agenda? How do you get
I get stuff done.
on there?
I get
I'm still
stuff
waiting for
down.
my proclamation. I haven't got
Yeah.
my proclamation
Well, and
yet.
sometimes they vote for me.
Where's my
I'm with you.
proclamation?
Sometimes they vote with me.
Where's the key to the doggone city I'm supposed to get? Where's my name?
For veterans in politics.
Yeah, where's my? Don't I get a street named after me
Definitely.
for a week or something? They do that at
Definitely.
the Las Vegas City Council. They get a street
want a
named after them
street?
for a week. I want to get my street. I want to get my proclamation. I want to get some recognition because I do stuff people don't like to do. They think about doing it, man. I should
Well,
have
and
done
think
that.
about this for just a minute. I'm going to give a really good example, Steve. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does everybody like the things, the decisions you make?
Not everybody.
Okay. Do you get pushback and people talking
push back, shove.
behind your
Somebody
back
try to
and-
run me over
and
with a
do you
bulldozer
hear
one
a lot
time?
about okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong.
No, I've been doing it for 20 years.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
still here.
I've been doing it for 2.5.
I beat out every
And-
single politician on the bench or in a seat. I beat them all
Right.
out. I've been doing it longer than them.
So that's my point. Just because people don't agree with Steve, or they don't agree with Michelle, right? Michelle Fiore, does not mean that they're bad or that it's wrong or that it's, so you can say it's contentious. I mean, he has his share of contention, right?
Have to change
Her eyes
shirts.
rolled if you cannot.
They didn't roll. They just got big because that is the way.
Like, no, but
that's
like,
the way. That's the way he rolls.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the way he rolls. And so that's the way I roll.
Found I got TBI. That's probably play a lot of it. Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. Military days. All
Okay. Well, yeah, no,
War
you
games.
and Matt can talk about that because you're both military. But
As long
anyway,
as he's buying me that steak, we can talk.
okay, we'll tell him. He has to do that.
Yeah.
But that's my.
He heard it. He should be
that-
listening.
I think he is, and I think he's probably
Matt, the golden
Matt,
yelling.
stare.
He's probably yelling.
Matt-
Yes, Steve.
Matt, make reservations at the golden stare.
I don't
Next
see.
The
stare.
golden
I-
steer.
Stare next. Oh, you know where it is?
Yes.
Well, get the reservation.
I don't
Next
think
to-
I
no,
Matt's
you know
name
what
on
steaks cost there?
I love
Do you
that place.
think we're rich?
Do you know how tasty those steaks are? What are you talking
Okay,
about?
well, I'll make you one of those.
Tasty.
I
They're
know exactly
tasty.
how they make those. I can take
You
care
got
of
the
that.
secret ingredient.
In my restaurant days. Yeah, I can do that for you.
I'm
I
coming
can
over
make
your
that.
house then.
Okay.
What
then
kind
you
of
come
restaurant
over.
was it? What kind of food?
It was a quick service and it was amazing. We had Hawaiian
What is like
and,
like
and
hamburgers?
American and, yeah, but the best hamburgers you'd ever have because they came fresh from
Ever.
literally a ranch.
Okay.
From a ranch.
So
Cody's
it's like
Ranch.
you did it
No.
quick.
Ranch.
And,
No, Majestic.
Oh.
Majestic meats. They were phenomenal and they were fresh. Everything was fresh, and then
Where was it? Maybe we've been in it. Where was it?
No,
It was in
you
Henderson?
haven't. No, it was in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a quick service. And
No
we
alcohol.
had
Okay.
to drive. We were in a dry county, so there wasn't. We were the
Oh,
sports
gotcha.
grill that didn't have alcohol. It was kind of funny. People would laugh. I mean, the people that would come visit from out of state, that they were like, "How can you be a sports grill?" But anyway, it was great. We had appetizers. We had wraps and salads and the best ice cream you've ever tasted, shakes and drinks, and we had a drink counter, so it was like a fizz or we had all of that,
Did you
right?
make money when you sold it?
Why are you asking me that?
That's on
Of-
her financials. Don't you have to
Of course,
submit
I made
financials
money when
to
I
the-
sold it. Like I worked
to
it
the
14
SOS?
hours a day. Like any break we had.
You all the way to Utah?
Oh yeah,
Wait,
any
how do
break
you
we
work
had.
14 hours a
Did
day
you
when
see
you
that
lived
show
here?
while you
Any
were passing
break,
by?
No, because I didn't have a plane. No, anyway, no, we went on breaks. Like,
She was on his
we
private
went
jet.
any break that the school had.
That's what-
Okay.
They
No.
all flying down there together.
Wait a
Oh,
second.
yes.
Hold on. Hold on.
I went to go say something earlier, and now I've forgotten, and it was very poignant. And now I don't remember.
Wait,
get
You
back.
do this to me.
You
How
get
Yes, I
back,
will.
girl.
Yes, I will. You do
but
this.
you've lived here forever.
I
So
am turning
how
red because I'm so hot.
How
and
did you-
red.
how do you work in the restaurant in Utah? Do you go back and forth?
We
or
did.
How does
We did, and during COVID,
how often did you go back and forth?
quite a bit. And during COVID, what was great is we taught online for a lot of that.
No,
And
the
so-
restaurant.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's how. Because I was able to teach online. It didn't matter where you were.
Oh, so you just drove
So,
up and stayed.
Yeah, well, we'd go 4 days up, 3 days back, things like that. So we just made our life work. And
How
we have,
far into Utah was this? Because
it's about a 300-mile drive.
okay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't
No.
like in the northern.
Past St. George,
Yeah, it is
going
past-
towards
Kind of near
Salt Lake.
Dan Shaw.
No, it isn't anywhere near Salt Lake, but yeah.
Was it
No,
near
that's
Dan
way
Shaw's?
too far. Dan Shaw was in the southern part, as far as I
yeah,
know.
we looked them up.
Right?
We're in the southern part.
Was he way up there?
He's
That's
more
why he
central.
needed a private jet.
More
Yeah.
central.
He could pick her up on the way.
I
and
wonder
then
what
they
he's doing now.
No,
Let's call him.
Let's get him on the phone right now.
I actually missed him. So I don't
She said she missed
He
it.
will
What?
in some ways. Yeah. No, his calmness, he was kind to me.
He was calm.
What kind of councilman lives in
Oh
Utah
my gosh, I am not debating
And-
the law.
and comes
Yeah, no.
sits on the Henderson City Council
Yeah,
when
no,
he
that's
doesn't
the
even
law.
live here?
Yeah,
That's
and
ridiculous.
that's the law.
Can't he,
and
can't
that's
he just
between
find
him-
a spot in Utah to
No,
run?
but
a
I'm not
council seat?
talking about
There was
that.
no council
I'm talking
seats.
about
Maybe he was a nice guy.
was
I
no
don't know.
council-
That's dishonest.
There was no council seats in Utah.
I am not suggesting that is honest.
That
I
wasn't
said
honest
he
at
was,
all.
He was pretty nice to me, but the reality
He could have been.
is it is what it
Did he
is.
take you on his plane?
And
Yeah, he picked her up on the way, and they.
Oh, yeah, with the
my
restaurant.
gosh, with as many cars I went through driving up and down that freeway, no, I'm not going there. But oh my gosh, you are both. I'm
Look.
trying to remember what I was saying, Steve.
Councilman Cox. I'm enjoying this This is probably going to be one of my best programs.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know. And they're like, no, really. I just have to say this. Look, regardless, look, I don't think there should ever be any contention. I want to be on the record. There shouldn't be any.
So you're going to get along with all
No,
your council members?
well, I am open. I am open to
Did you
win.
go and let's go to lunch?
No,
or something?
You got to make up with
yeah.
Seabach. You got to
Oh
make
my
up with
gosh.
Romero.
What
You
do
got to make
mean?
up with
No, they
Monica.
got to make up with me.
Oh.
Okay. So my point is,
And who's the other guy?
there's no.
Dan Stewart.
Stewart.
Okay.
Do you have any issues with him?
No.
Okay.
I don't
Is
have
he
any.
cool?
Listen, I have no issues with
anybody?
any of my colleagues. Okay. Are you not hearing what I've said through this program?
Tell them to
It's
endorse
like
your candidacy.
it doesn't matter. Fine, let me find people that they're going to endorse you, that
Ain't
you've
nobody
stood
gonna
up,
endorse me. I want
right,
my proclamation.
that
though.
you've stood up to and said, this is what's right, and I'll take the heat. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do what's right.
Okay.
Every time. And that is not a downer to anyone. That's not intended to be. I am one of the easiest people to get along, and you've known me for years. I'm one of the easiest people to get along with, and I want to work to a win-win every time, because that is what matters. Why does there have to be lose? Why? We can compromise and find what's best for Henderson, what's best for our residents. I think one of the things that happened that was a little bit damaging is that when we went to ward only, I think that it does create some divide just in that, because you're responsible for your own ward. And there's kind of that, sometimes there's some feeling like.
But that's better for when you're running.
Yeah,
Because
when you're
and I
running
think-
citywide, you're still responsible for
I'm
your ward.
great with
Yeah.
how the voters spoke, and I support them.
Mhm.
Okay, the voters spoke, and I support that. I support ward only. The city's been a little slow to come to ward only in how we're affecting that and making sure that's implemented. And I get it, because they did it citywide since 56. Okay, so I get why it's taking time, but we're going on 3 years. And
They just changed that, last year?
it was
year?
no, it was 3. It was on my ballot.
Oh, okay.
So, it's 2.5 years that we have done that. And we need to just make sure
We
that,
ranted about it on a
Yeah.
show years ago.
well, right. And it just needs to be, each city council person needs to be honored. We all have the same voting. We're all the same.
Mhm.
The mayor is a ceremonial head that has, some ceremonial things that are hers alone. And that's right. That is how it should be.
Mhm.
But we all need to value each other. I mean, we're human beings. We're all human beings. It is just ridiculous to think that, that if somebody doesn't think the way you do, or they do think the way you do, and they go with the constituents, that's a problem.
Have you heard of anybody that's going to try to run against you?
I haven't, and I'm just prepared. Bottom line, I'm prepared. And
And you're not going to jump in the mayor race?
Nope.
Come March.
No, I'm not jumping in the mayor race.
Don't be like Biden.
Why are these people saying
unless
that Carrie
the
told
mayor
her
is
she's
not
running
going to
for
be in the
mayor?
mayor race?
Don't be
that
like
she's
Biden.
announced,
You know how
right?
Biden did, right?
But I don't want to give up my seat.
Yeah.
I just really, that's the key there, right? Is that
Well, I forgot to ask
I
you,
don't
what
wanna
did
choose.
Senator Stone say? Because you wanted to get that changed, right?
Yep.
And get the legislation changed to where you wouldn't lose the seat. So what was his
Well,
response
I just
with
thought
that?
of it was more than me. It was bigger than me, right? It was Cedric Creer when he ran, and then he forfeited his seat. And it's just, I think that I just like a balanced, fair process that we've been talking about, right?
Mhm.
And it's just not balanced and fair when when 3 can run for mayor, but the 4 can run for mayor and 1 can't, or, it's,
Mhm.
it just doesn't, it's not a fair, balanced process. And so I think for everyone, it'd be great if they had that option. But I've never, and I have always said, I'm not running against the current mayor.
You remember Biden when he said he won't What he said he won't do with his son? Pardon him?
Wouldn't pardon him, and then he did. The whole family,
So
not
how-
just his son,
how
his
long
whole
have you
family.
known me?
Uncle George and everybody.
How long have you known me? Years.
Years.
Years and years and years. Have I ever lied to you, Steve?
Not that I could see, no.
Okay. Our current mayor has announced she is running for mayor. I am not running against Michelle Romero and have never intended to. So what I have noticed is that people sometimes like to create problems and chaos. And if they can, they kind of like that crisis-driven life. And so I'm talking about a very small, minute few people, but that are in her ear, and that's just the way it
In
is.
the mayor's ear?
I believe so. And so my point is, she could have asked me at any time, and I would have told her the truth.
If you were running.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I said it from the dais twice that I wasn't. So 2 different times in public, on the dais, on record. But why are we bogged down in that?
Mhm.
It is ridiculous to think we're wasting time on these things.
People want to know because people have said that they have
No,
heard directly from you that you were going to
No.
run and plan to run.
Oh, what,
So
Monica?
people are
No.
no, not Monica.
Okay, because
No,
that
no.
sounds like her.
No, it wasn't
No,
Monica. No,
no.
these are people that you said directly to
No.
them that you
No.
intended or wanted to run for mayor. Not
No, I will run for mayor in 2030. So
Okay.
if they're talking about that, yeah.
2030.
Yeah,
Look out for her. I'll
Yeah.
be governor by
she's turned, the mayor's
What are you
turned
gonna
down.
be?
I'll be in DC by then.
Yeah, no.
She'd be
So,
senator, I'll be governor.
but I have not said I'm running for mayor against. I've always said I have to give up my seat. It doesn't make sense for me. And I don't know. I get asked quite a bit to run for mayor,
Mhm.
actually. But I'm not, it doesn't matter. I made the decision. I made the decision a long time ago.
Mhm.
This isn't new. And so, I'd really like it if people would realize that if I've answered the question, that's the answer. But they want to keep creating, more divide.
Mhm.
Why? Don't you want a happy, healthy Henderson City Council
I love that.
leading?
Happy, healthy
Yeah.
Henderson.
Leading, yeah.
That's going to be your slogan.
No.
Yeah, there you go. Put that on the
Happy-
sign.
Well,
Happy, healthy Henderson.
know,
Triple H.
I
H.
know. And
Happy,
I'm
healthy Henderson. Triple H.
and I'm grateful to the staff members that created that because it wasn't me.
Well,
But
you can use slogan though.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
This
think
is live. You
I
want to
think
capture
you
it
need
before
to.
somebody starts to use it.
I know Henderson already has. Henderson has
Thank you, staff
happy,
at Henderson.
healthy Henderson.
They're already
Henderson
using it?
owns that. Sure, they are, and that's their.
'Cause I was
That's
gonna
that is
copyright
not mine. No,
I was
that
gonna
is
take
not
that.
mine to use. That is
And sell it to
Henderson's,
you.
the city's. But I mean, I think you need to.
As rent.
I think you need to, take it from me is that, if somebody felt that way, they misunderstood. So that's the bottom line.
Okay.
They didn't, they misunderstood because I have been consistent in what I've said. And I think it matters. I've already announced for Ward 3.
Okay.
So I think, my opportunity, if I was really going to do that, was the mayor announced, then I announced. So I could have announced, I would have announced for that if that's what I intended on doing. But, I just felt, like I said, that the process needed to be cleared
What
up
does
a little
Matt
bit.
say? That's all I need to know. What does Matt say?
I have the best husband on the
What
planet.
does Matt say?
I have the best husband on the planet. He says,
Uh-huh.
I've got your back,
Okay.
and you need to keep you're doing a great job, honey, and you need to be there because you really do represent and make changes. And we really didn't, because we got bogged down in a lot of the negative. One of the things that I've helped work on at the city is to make sure that we can be a charter school authority. And I've supported that heavily. And that was something I talked about was education. I'm directly involved in education. And that's important. We've got to make sure our kids are taken care of, and we need a workforce that's educated, and because it hurts everybody if not. And so that's got to be important. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, having that and being part of that.
What are your next goals in
I
if you
want
win
to.
again?
I will win again.
Mhm.
I will, and because I've done a good job.
Mhm.
And I've taken care of residents, public safety, and business.
Mhm.
So really it's to continue to bolster and lift businesses. There's a lot of mom and pops. Small business is the engine that drives our economy. Small business needs a lot of extra help. Some do fine, but there are those that don't know where to begin sometimes. And they need to be assisted and helped. And I'm going to continue to work on that and work with them and promote and help them in any way I can. I'm also going to continue on the education trail. I think it's just critical that we get that handled. I'm going to continue on the public safety. Public safety has to be first because everything hinges on that.
Has the crime gotten better the last 2 or 3 years?
It did. Our crime rates in our data shows that it went down. That in-person crimes, I'm trying to remember the percentages and I apologize, should have had those. But the in-person crimes and the property crimes came down. And that's really important. We want our residents to feel safe and to be safe.
Yeah.
And, and so those are the things that I want to do. I want to make sure that, but most importantly, residents first. And
we gotta get out of here
Yeah,
because our
we
sushi place gonna close down.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
gonna be like that. So,
Oh,
Well-
we're way past
Well, thank
time.
you.
Sorry, Carrie, we have to go.
So-
Okay, you beat me up and then you gotta go.
so,
We got to go.
Thank you.
so Councilwoman Cox, Mark's gonna zoom in on you, and then you can say whatever. Vote for me. Happy, healthy Henderson. Vote Carrie Cox 527-998. Whatever you
Okay.
want to do. You point
Okay.
contact.
Well, I have open door policy. I'm accessible, so call me at 702-306-3302. And really, if you have any questions, any concerns, let me know. Every day I get up, and being a city councilwoman isn't easy, but every day I get up and I get back to work and try to make sure that I fulfill all the promises that I made when I ran. And I feel like I have, and I'll continue to do so for you. So get out, tell everybody that I'm running again, and check the box for Carrie Cox.
Ooh, I like that. Check the box for Carrie Cox. Yeah, I like that. It's a little run to it. Well, Councilwoman Cox, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Appreciate
Ms.
it.
Phillips, thank you as always.
Yeah.
Folks, that's Carrie Cox, Henderson City Council, Ward number 3.
Thank you.
She's running for re-election. I hope this program educated you and made you content with Carrie Cox being at the helm for another 4 years. 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what our terms are.
All right. This is Steve Sanson, Stephanie Phillips of Veterans in Politics. Until next time.